In this series of videos, we're going to have a look at plyometrics training. What is it? Why is it good? Why is it bad? And how can we implement it as part of our training plan? For these, plyometrics boxes like these are fantastic. The reason they're so good is that they're soft, so they're nice and safe. If you do fail or happen to kick one, it's not going to do any damage. You can change the heights easily, so they all stick together. Most gymnasiums do have one of these, so do take advantage of them if you do personal training, anything like that. Really do take advantage of plyometrics. It's a fantastic way of increasing maximum force within the muscles. Really good for muscular endurance as well. If you haven't got something like this, just make sure whatever you're jumping onto is nice and stable. So you don't want it to move, you don't want it to slip, and you don't want it to be too firm, just in case you do happen to kick one. This video is very much an introduction to plyometrics, so we'll talk you through how to do the correct movements. Done well, plyometrics is fantastic. It is also can be quite dangerous. Due to the high load and impact of the body, it really does need to have correct technique whilst you're doing it, which is why we're going to talk you through each exercise. So, to start with, we're going to start on a single box and we're going to start quite low. So 12-inch box to start with, and we will work our way up as we do this. To start with, the first movement or exercise is going to be a very simple box jump. It's going to be 2 legs and there's going to be no trigger movement. And I'll explain what I mean in a minute when I come on to trigger movements. We're going to preload the muscles. So the idea of plyometrics training is that your muscles go through eccentric, isometric, and then a concentric contraction. So eccentric is when the muscles lengthen. So if you watch what my quads are doing here, if you imagine the quads, when I load the muscles, they are lengthening under stress, which is eccentric. They're going to pause at the bottom, which is the isometric, and then when I explode up, they're going to contract quickly. So they're lengthening, pause, and then quickly, maximum exertion, shortening. That in effect is how plyometrics works on the muscle. So, correct technique for a box jump, really important for the knees and the glutes and the hips on this one. So we're going to stand not too close, so we want to give ourselves enough time to get up and onto the box. Our feet are going to be slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and we're going to use our arms to create a bit of momentum and to drive us forward. So all we're going to do is load the muscles by going into a squat, and then we're going to come up, drive up with our arms, keep our knees out, and I'll show you in the reverse angle in a minute. Keep our knees out, drive up with our glutes and with our quads, and going to go up onto the box. When we land, we want it to be nice and stable and a strong landing, so we're not off balance and we're not moving forward and back. So here we go. So load the muscles, up, and nice strong landing. If I show you the reverse angle, and again, watch what my knees are doing. So when I'm loading and when I'm exploding up, my knees are staying out and I'm using my glutes. So I don't want to do this. I don't want to come down. I don't want to drop my knees in and then explode up. Will hurt your back and cause all sorts of problems in the back, and you won't get the benefits you want from it. Can also cause damage to your knees and ankles. So watch my knees, they're staying out throughout the whole movement. So I'm using my glutes and I'm stabilizing my knee. So again, feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Going to load up my muscles, get that kinetic energy stored. I'm going to use my arms to propel me forward. So down, knees out, up. Nice strong landing. Notice my knees on landing also didn't collapse in. So out, very glute heavy. From here, we can then add in a lateral movement. So again, using my arms for momentum, my arms are going to come up and over, and I'm going to drive up, in this case from my left leg mostly, to get that lateral movement going. Everything else is exactly the same. So same starting position. Again, I don't want to start too close to the box, so I want to give myself time to get up and clear the box. Slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Again, knees are going to stay out throughout, and I'm just going to drive off mostly from my left leg to create that. So I'm using my glute med even more so for this. So here we go again, knees out, load the muscles up and to the side. Nice strong landing, knees staying out throughout the whole movement. So here we go again, load the muscles up and land. Okay. From here, the next movement that we're going to look at is going to be a single leg jump. And again, even more important now to keep your knees nice and strong. So the temptation is as soon as we go onto one leg, as soon as we load, we drop our knee in. We're not going to do that. We're using our glutes to get the correct movement. We're protecting our lower back. Exactly the same process. So start as you were going to do a 2-legged jump. go onto one leg, so obviously your weight is going to move slightly, but the knee doesn't move. You're going to load up your muscle, use your arms to take you forward, keep your knee out, drive up using your glutes. So here we go. So again, standing slightly back from the box, onto one leg, preload, up and out. Again, the landing is going to be a little bit more difficult because we're landing on one leg now, but we want the same to occur. We do not want our leg to drop in as we load, or we don't want it to drop in as we land. Use your glutes. If you're struggling to do this, lower the box. So if that's too much for you and you're not able to use your glutes properly, lower the box. If you can't do it at all, literally just start by doing a little jump like that, and you want to keep your knee out. So going down to a 6-inch box, I'm going to do exactly the same. So knee is going to stay out the whole way out. So again, load the muscle, out with my knee. And again on my left, I know my left isn't quite as strong as my right, but here we go. So down, and a nice strong landing. A little bit off balance on landing, so really try and focus on perfect technique. So up, and you should be able to land and stabilize. Okay? We're now going to go back to, and this will be the last exercise that we do in this video, and in subsequent videos we'll progress this even more. We're now going to add in a trigger movement. So this is going to increase the eccentric and isometric movements. It increases the load already within the muscles. So when we're talking kinetic energy that our tendons can store, this is where that kinetic energy starts to increase. To do this, we're going to add in a pre-movement or a trigger movement. So standing a little bit further away from the box, exactly the same starting position and exactly the same process throughout, except this time we're going to add in a jump before we jump up onto the box. By doing this, when we're landing, so if we jump and land here, there's already going to be more force going through the body. So there's more downward force, the Achilles are loading up more, the tendons around the knee are loading up more, and all the tendons in the foot as well. So there's more kinetic energy. This means we can actually jump higher. In the later videos, when we come on to doing really high jumps, you'll see the difference in a standing jump compared to a jump with a trigger movement or a run-up. I think for people like long jumpers and triple jumpers, really, really long run-up, the reason they do that is to get that stored energy within the muscles and within the tendons. Effectively, it's free energy. If you're running a lot, you want to get lots of kinetic energy within your Achilles tendon. So here we go. Standing a little bit further from the box. To start with, you just want a small jump, so you only want a small amount of kinetic energy. So all we're going to do, 2 feet, minimal contact time from between the first jump and the second jump, and again, same with the knees. So we're going to jump and jump again. Okay, so almost creating like a spring as if there's a trampoline there. So I'll show you one more time. Jump, jump, and up. Okay, if I show you from the face on angle, again, watch what my knees do throughout. So both movements, my knees are staying strong and stable, and I'm really activating my glutes. So here we go, a little bit further back from the box, feet slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Use my arms to propel me forward. We're going to go jump, jump. Nice firm landing. Okay? Experiment around with that, change the reps. At the moment we're sticking to 1 reps. Again, in later videos we will start to add in multiple jumps, so where we have little or no rest time at all. For now, get your body used to the force and the load going through it. Experiment with different heights of box, so once you're comfortable with box jumping onto 6 or 12 inches, you can add and change the height of the box. Again, that's why these are so great. So in time, you'll be able to work up. So standing further from the box this time, using our arms a lot more, and we'll need to preload a lot more. So deeper down in, up, and land. Okay? I hope that's a really good introduction to plyometrics. It's definitely something that should be in training programs. Really, really good for exertion of maximal force within the muscles. Take your time with it, don't rush into it. Start low, start with correct technique, and take your time. So maybe only once a week or every other week to start with. Any questions or comments, please do let us know. We'll be happy to guide you through this. If you really enjoyed this and would like to train more with plyometrics, we do have more advanced videos coming up as well.